if you are walking home alone by yourself at night in Chicago and a car rolls up and rolls down the window and someone inside the car, unmarked car, beater of a car, asks if you need a ride, do not get in that car. This is now...
What is this, a filter for stupidity? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a guy or a girl out there, late at night and you're partying and you're having the drinky-loos, if somebody just rolls up and says, hey, you want to get in my car? I'll give you a free ride. Don't do it, okay? I wish somebody told me that about the white van when I was a kid, but... live and you learn, right? God damn. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken WAKS. Now, you might have heard of his name a couple days ago. Ken WAKS has been doing month-long investigations into what he believes to be a serial killer group known as the Smiley Face Gang. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to true crime content on the internet, I have a real, in my opinion, when you're investigating things like this, you better be on the goddamn money, okay? And generally, true crime content is probably one of the most consumed content pieces on the internet. Like, tons of moms consume this shit. Tons of people with no lives, okay, consume this kind of content. And very few have the, necessary critical thinking skills to actually look beyond what is being fed to them. Now, again, I'm not dogging anybody for enjoying this content. Obviously, it's very popular for a reason. It's intriguing, so on and so forth. I only ask that if you consume true crime content, you absolutely look at it all with a critical lens. It's one of my ethical views whenever I cover criminal things. Especially when it comes to active cases, I tend to try and stay away from that situation until, of course, things are resolved. Because usually law enforcement agents will tell you, please, just stop speculating and causing extra magnifying glasses that don't need to be there, so that if there is actually a killer on the loose, they don't try to hide themselves. They don't try to, be a little bit more careful, because generally cops are trying to look for one goddamn mistake, all right? They don't want somebody on red goddamn alert.
The same thing's happening in Chicago, in Minneapolis, in Wisconsin, in parts of Ohio, in Pittsburgh, and of course you have the Smiley Face Killers in Boston. I made a map with the data that I have for Chicago. Black is where bodies have been found, and blue is where people have been missing, and orange is where people were attempted to be picked up. I also have made one for Austin.
So you know what he told you? Yeah, don't get into a car randomly. What he's doing is basically plotting out where people are going missing, people are turning up dead, usually when they show up drowned or whatever, so to speak. And basically is mapping out some correlation of where this alleged gang sort of operates, right? Now, when it comes to investigations like this regarding missing people, which again are active investigations that grow colder by the hour, no joke, obviously these are real people that have went missing. So if you're going to be reporting on their cases or using them in any capacity, you got to make sure your investigation is ironclad. As far as I've been able to see, Ken is literally just throwing feces at a dartboard, kind of hoping it sticks. Again, I get what he was trying to do here. Look at where people went missing, look at where people had reported that somebody had offered them a free ride, and I guess just see if there was operations for this gang. Now, the gang, the Smiley Face Gang, so to speak, is a gang that, this isn't actual, police theory. Police theory basically brought up by two investigators, which we'll look into in the future. And the thing is, most law enforcement agencies, I would dare to say all, but I'm saying most because I'm sure there's probably one agency or one federal investigator out there that probably believes this, but generally it is a widely disproven theory because there's just no real tangible connections to it. Whether you're the FBI or you're just local police departments, state police departments, county police departments that have looked into this situation and have kind of brushed it off as a theory that really holds no real validity. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, I don't know what the world consists of entirely. I'm not the omnipresent eye. I'm not the eye of Sauron, so to speak. So maybe this gang could exist, but generally it's been pretty much known that this is a disproven police theory, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, again, I don't know if this gang is entirely real. It's actually a very debated topic. I actually wanted to cover it a couple of years ago, but it's not really a crazy story. We'll actually cover it just a little bit. I wanted to go over Ken's investigation a little bit more, until up into the point where he had to apologize, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Let's listen to more of his advice.
If you live in Chicago or were in Chicago and you were leaving a restaurant, bar, club, whatever, at night, and a car rolled up to you and offered you a free ride, not an Uber, not a taxi, not a professional driver, and they offered you a free ride just for out of the goodness of their heart, there is a chance that you were almost a victim of an organized crime ring.
Oh, dang. Just don't get into a random person's car. See, that's a piece of good advice that he offers. And then he starts leading it on and tantalizing it with, you were almost part of an organized crime ring. Just stay away. Don't get into a weird dude's car out of nowhere. God damn.
There's obviously something happening in Austin, Texas, and I'm pretty sure I got it. It's only been 2 weeks since I had to update this map and had John Hayes Clark. There is so much going on here, and the worst part is, it is accelerating. So, the issue is that a lot of people use the term SK.
Serial killer. God, dude, it's like this is made for Fisher Price. Stop it, okay? We're adults here. Let's use the right terms.
And it sensationalizes the thing, and it discredits what's actually going on. This isn't one person. This is a team. And it's obvious where they're using their point of origin. It's on Rainy Street. You just cannot look at this map and tell me that.
Oh, you see, it's obvious where their point of origin is. Rainy Street. Again, let's look at this map real quick. This is Austin. Austin's a pretty big city, ladies and gentlemen. I guess it's all Rainy Street. I really don't know. Maybe there's a higher concentration here, but it's kind of all plastered around. Again, what's happening is Ken is trying to find patterns, and he's making these claims like, hey guys, it's obvious something weird is going, something sussy-wussy is happening. Maybe this isn't just one person, maybe it's multiple. And if you're like, source, it always comes down to, just trust me, bro. That's what it is. Come on now. So again, usually when you're doing true crime content and you're doing investigations like this and you're making claims of this nature, you want to be sure, 100% sure. If you can't be 100% sure, you really don't have any real evidence other than, just flinging feces at a dartboard. Because again, Ken appears like the kind of guy from that one conspiracy meme, the guy putting all the points on, but they don't really make any sense, so he's going crazy. This is one of those scenarios. Again, if you're going to tackle these very sensitive issues, you want to be able to do them with actual proper investigations and not sitting, on your chair. It's one of the reasons why I don't look into these situations. I'm not a detective. I'm a fat guy sitting on my computer looking to shit up on Reddit, okay? That's not helping. That's nowhere close to it, all right? Maybe if I investigate the blockchain, yeah, I can sit on my ass and look through fucking, blockchain receipts and whatnot. But when it comes to investigating real serial situations happening in these cities, you're not there. You're not really looking at these situations. You're not really looking at this like a profiler or an actual detective. You're looking at it as some guy on the internet with too much free time. And that doesn't help. It's also insulting because when you put up each individual missing case like this, you're not actually elaborating on, again, each one of them. There's different circumstances to why somebody went missing, what's happened, whether there is even enough information to discuss that missing person situation in relation to a serial killer or a gang that's roaming around. This is one of those scenarios where I wish he elaborated on this investigation, but he's just kind of updating us with this map, and that's pretty much the general investigation that went on. It's actually that loose. Anything after this is a little bit insulting because this is where Ken introduces, I would like to say, a bit of theater into the situation. There was one case where somebody actually showed up to his house on a Sunday evening, an investigator, so to speak. Whether this was legitimate or not, whether this was real, who knows? In fact, in a following TikTok, he received this business card with the Eye of Horus on it. And again, I can't, a lot of this stuff is when, people who were watching his investigation kind of, there's the synapse finally fired in this case, okay? And the people were like, this doesn't really seem like a real investigation. Really just seems like you're kind of making shit up as you go. In fact, most of the investigation up until now has pretty much just been flinging fecal matter at a dartboard. Where is this actual investigation? Where are the actual bits of evidence that are corroborating this theory? Who knows? But again, Ken goes even further and at one point claims to have quote-unquote cracked the case, the Da Vinci Code, so to speak. So here he claims, yo, I cracked the case, let's go! Did he solve the Smiley Face murder clan? Let's figure it out. Did Ken do it? Oh shit, let's go!
I hope you're ready for this then, because last night at 3 a.m, I cracked the case. I was able to crack it last night because of you, because of everyone who reached out with information for me. After Mark gave us a profile, he gave us a description of that driver, people then started contacting me via email, via Instagram message, whatever, with their experiences. Over time, I was able to isolate one guy's experience leaving a bar where he was able to get a license plate of a car and a driver that matched that description. Last night at 2 or 3 in the morning, I got another email from somebody else
describing the same exact freaking car, down to the beginning of the license plate and the same exact descriptor of the driver. That private investigator that showed up at my door Sunday night, by the way, was sent by this man, Detective Kevin Gannon. And if you're familiar with the Smiley Face gang theory, then you probably know exactly who he is.
Oh, he brought it up. Well, it seems like he took us to the next part. Nice segue there, Ken. Basically, this entire gang that he's been calling out at this point is known as the Smiley Face Gang. Now, there's actually a theory that's been happening all the way back from 1997, I want to say, where basically two detectives from New York, known as Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte, basically brought up the idea that a number of young men were found dead in bodies of water across Midwestern American states from 1990s to 2010s. They did not accidentally drown, as concluded by law enforcement agencies, but were actually victims of serial killers or killers. Now, the reality of this is while these guys definitely put into them, they run an organization known as the Global Death Investigations. And I'm sure these guys are talented police officers and agents, but of course, their theory wasn't completely corroborated. For instance, police departments involved do not officially treat these deaths as part of a serial killer investigation. Law enforcement aside, the Minneapolis Nonprofit Center for Homicide Research released a thorough report on the Smiley Face Killer in 2010 that firmly debunks the entire idea. Which they did. In fact, if you want to read it, they've got it right here. The Drowning the Smiley Face Murder Theory. They have several points, but one of the points that I wanted to bring up was actually the fact that the graffiti, which typically were smiley faces near these bodies, were actually too common of graffiti to be notable in this case. Smiley faces were invented in 1964. I feel like we've developed smiley faces way before that, but okay. Smileys have now become a universal symbol of happiness. They exist everywhere, from children's stickers to commercial logos. One reason this graffiti is found everywhere is that smiley faces are amongst the easiest forms of graffiti to paint. But of course, one of the actual things that I really get into, and one of the actual theories that they mentioned, was one where they actually said that the drowning appears to be more so auto-assassination. So auto-assassination is a style of living with reckless disregard for one's own life. Responsible drinking does not involve drinking to the point of intoxication. Many of these drowning victims appear to be drinking to the point of total inebriation. In some instances, these deaths actually may be suicides, because, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been blackout drunk, which is what total inebriation means, chances are you could be walking around and stumbling in the city. You could unfortunately walk into oncoming traffic, get killed there. You could unfortunately walk on a train tracks. You could unfortunately fall into bodies of water where, again, because you're totally blackout drunk, you may end up accidentally drowning. Again, the smiley face murder theory has so many holes in it that even when the FBI, and this is back from 2008, over the last several years, law enforcement and the FBI have received information about young, college-aged men who've been found deceased in rivers in the Midwest. So to date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths, or any evidence substantiating the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. The vast majority of these instances appear to be alcohol-related drownings. The FBI will continue to work with local police in the affected areas to provide support as requested. Which again, this is kind of corroborating with what most state and federal agencies think. Unfortunately, the people that die in these situations, a grand majority of them, aren't tied to some crazy crime ring or serial killer kidnapping nonsense. And of course, it took me 5 minutes to figure this shit out. It didn't take TikTokers. TikTokers figured this out maybe 6 or 5 days ago when he eventually had to start putting up an apology video. So this is Ken's apology, and I'm air quoting over here pretty hard because I don't really know what the hell the apology consisted of, other than the fact that Ken was announcing he had to step back from being the chief marketing officer of a tech bro app that he was working on. Also, when it came to this investigation, it seems like Ken knows that his efforts did fucking all. Now, of course, what was even wilder about this is when you look even further into Ken's investigation and the sense of grandeur this man develops, where apparently he claimed to be scouted by the FBI. Listen to this claim. Just listen to how wild this is, because this is not going to only show you Ken's insanity, but also the average TikTok viewer's reading comprehension. So let's go through this.
What's funny is that the FBI did try to hire me. They actually tried to recruit me twice.
Man, dude, TikTokers are dude, the TikTok community is goddamn stupid. FBI jobs do not reply. Hi, working at the FBI is an exciting career path. Your special agent application reminders. He didn't complete the application paperwork, you dunces. He applied. The FBI wasn't recruiting him. Dumbass. God damn. Do people not know how to read a goddamn subject line? What's wrong with you? Jesus Christ, dude. It's like you're trying to entertain. Dude, literally, here, let me get some. If I had some keys right now, I'd dangle in front of them, dude. That's all you need. Jesus Christ. Now, it wasn't just me calling it. There's some pretty good TikTokers out there that actually looked beyond what Ken has said anyways. Maybe Ken's investigation wasn't all that it was cracked up to be.
I hope you're ready for this then, because last night at 3 in the morning, I cracked the case. I was able to crack.
Hi, former military police investigator and interrogator for the U.S. Army, mainly working in Afghanistan operations. And
oh, dude, TikTok's kind of based, bro. Yeah, I'm a military interrogator specialist. I operated in Afghanistan. Oh, human rights violations, you say? Ooh. Dude, it's kind of sick, bro. God damn. All right, what's he gonna say?
I just want to issue a strong warning around these videos. I kind of got caught up and I was watching it, but it was the FBI bounce back emails. Those are just when you submit an application for those. The FBI isn't trying to recruit him. I tried to find any information about these 2 murderers that he supposedly caught. He's not. I think this is a really important thing to talk about. Gaining clout off of people's misfortunes, especially people who are murdered and their families are not at peace, is one of the most horrible things. And this is all to promote an app.
Now, I don't know what he's talking about specifically with the 2 murders. It seems like a lot of stuff does get removed. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, what they're talking about with the application in particular, this Foresight application that he was pushing, lifestyle planning, travel innovation, social experience. Just use a messaging application and talk about your plans. Jesus Christ. Trying to convince your homies to download a fucking app for anything is a goddamn impossibility. Just stop it. So there were other TikTokers that looked into this actual app real quick. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go down and just go to his website here real quick, the Foresight. So basically people found this one place called Start Engine, which I guess is basically like a Kickstarter for this kind of stuff. So if you effectively have a application that you want to promote or push, then you can go over here and like give reasons to invest. And I guess they raised like $209,000 before Ken was removed because of this post right here. Look at this real quick. So I scrolled down. I'm actually surprised it's not deleted. In fact, if I look over here real quick, he apparently is still listed as like a co-founder, like CMO, which I guess he technically is a co-founder. From what it appears, he has been booted off as far as I know. But to look into this, ladies and gentlemen, one of the posts down over here, which was past 48 hours, okay? 804 installs, 25.5K raise. This is on 4/16/23, right? The team at Foresight is shattering record with over 804 install, very specific number, by the way, with $25,000 raised in the same time period. What's caused this sudden viral urge? With our CMO having an influential 830K follower TikTok reach, Foresight's potential for explosive growth has never been a secret. That said, the team has never achieved true virality when attempting to promote product-centered content on Ken's personal profile. Yeah, because nobody wants to watch a straight fucking ad, okay? That's not how it works. Congrats, you guys figured out basic marketing on the internet. Ken decided to try something new yesterday by quickly referencing Foresight as a side topic at the end of an unrelated post. Now, what is this unrelated post, ladies and gentlemen? Well, if I try clicking on it, video currently unavailable. Now, I've tried looking up this video, okay? I looked at the URL. I even went to a website, believe it or not, known as URL eBird, Early Bird, I guess. And it seems as though that one page that I'm trying to find, if I load more, it actually appears that that specific video, no matter what, has been like straight up deleted. Now, while digging up his deleted video is not really an interest to me, obviously he was trying to promote this dumb app in between an investigation that really had no legs to stand on, ladies and gentlemen. Proving once again that, TikTokers, I'll be honest with you, it takes them a solid couple months before they realize they've been had. Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly how not to true crime, and this is exactly how to take I would say, advantage of really, really sensitive situations. Clearly, people lost their lives over here, and for Ken to sit over here and fling shit at a dartboard thinking that maybe he's onto some theory that, again, wasn't substantiated to begin with. Stuff like this actually hurts investigations, and stuff like this, honestly, is incredibly insensitive, obviously. But also, the true crime category has plenty of already done, or already, like, I guess you could say, completed sagas that you could cover and actually look at analytically. Again, active investigations, or again, lack of an investigation really over here, and again, just connecting random deaths with this one theory that has actually been pretty much debunked throughout the course of 2 decades is something that, honestly, it took me, 30 minutes to rationally, critically think and debunk myself. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a story of how Ken, one of TikToker's most ambitious investigators, so to speak, God, I hate using that term for this specific story, actually had to issue an apology because, goddamn, the insensitivity was off the charts. Should you download Ken's app? Honest to God, I couldn't even answer that question. If you don't know that you have a calendar app built into your phone, you got a lot more problems than downloading an app to plan a fucking trip out with your friends. That said, though, Ken, goddamn, you are one gross motherfucker. But ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.